Hello, welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. My name is Robert Boise. I'm the director of 15 Minutes of Fame. 15 Minutes of Fame is 15 one-minute works that are written for a specific musician or ensemble. Today, our composers wrote for the lovely and talented Talla Rouge. They are a very interesting and dynamic group. They're two violists in their ensemble that have been storming the new music scene. And I love the fact that they were really interested in blending their ethnicity with new music. When we contacted each other, we put out this call asking for composers to write pieces for two violas that was getting down to their roots. What sort of the ethnicity of each composer and what gravitates to them. So the first composer we're going to start with is Juan María Solare.
Hello, my name is Ryan Charles Raymer. I'm the composer of the next selection, which is a sea shanty. It was originally from a collection of 12 sea shanties for solo violin that I wrote last year. Those can be found on YouTube under my name, Ryan Charles Raymer, and 12 sea shanties. These were just melodies that I was whistling to myself as I walked. As a pedestrian, I have a lot of time to concoct melodies in my head, and these were 12 that really stuck. They were sort of like recurring dreams that I had. So I arranged this melody for two violas for Talla Rouge, and I wanted to create a sense that they were two people who met and maybe didn't know the same language but knew the same melody, so they were able to just have a pickup concert. But I added some spicy notes to it to sort of imitate two people knowing the same melody, but maybe in different modes. Like, for example, how somebody might know Green Sleeves in E melodic minor and someone else might know it in E Dorian. And so the idea was that it was supposed to sound like the first time that they ever played it together. And there might be some notes in there that they didn't maybe agree upon, but it made it sound more impromptu. So I'm very thrilled to have this duo perform my work. I did a lot of research on them, and I'm very honored that they selected my work. So I hope you enjoy this sea shanty for two violas.
Wow, wonderful. And I wanted next to bring on composer Jim Dalton. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Hi, pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Jim,
Great.
why don't you just say your name, tell us about yourself, and a little bit about your piece?
Sure. I'm Jim Dalton. I'm a composer and a player of plucked instruments and a professor of music theory at the Boston Conservatory at Berkeley in Boston. And I'm very excited about this piece. Actually, I don't have that much of a chance often to include elements um, from my family background in my pieces. And in this one, I chose an Irish style slow air. I mean, which is related to the slow airs are instrumental pieces that are related to the singing of sean-nós, which is the old style of singing in Irish that's very ornamented and very free. But I combined that with a slip jig, which is one of the oldest of the dance melodies, the dance tunes, I mean, dance styles. And I wrote this a as a mensuration canon or a prolation canon, in that the same melody serves for the slow air and for the slip jig, the more dance-like slip jig, um, as a canon. So it's the same melody played at two different tempos. And I'm very happy that Talla Rouge is playing my music today. Thank you for that.
Hello, I'm Anna Vriend. You're going to listen to my piece for viola duo, Axel Tulso. I have written music for a variety of instruments, woodwinds, reeds, brass, strings, keyboards, and voices, and several of my pieces have been performed on 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm studying composition with Alexander Kempkin, and I'm very happy that Talla Rouge is going to perform my piece today. When the call for scores came out, I visited Tallā Rouge's website and I listened to some fragments of their playing. I was very impressed by their sound quality and the deep expressiveness in their playing, so I decided that I would make a piece for them. I'm very happy that Aria and Lauren from Tallā Rouge then also chose my piece to perform. For this piece, I was inspired by a Swedish folk song, first printed in the early 18th century. It is a medieval ballad which had 200 rhyming verses. It tells the tragic story of a knight, Axel, and his love for beautiful Valborg Ingemarsdotter. It suits the viola well, and I do like the melody intermingling between the two instruments. I would like to thank Aria and Lauren for performing my piece, and also, of course, Robert for organizing this opportunity. I hope you enjoy the piece.
Wonderful. And so for the next composer I'd like to bring on is David Bohn. Hi, David. How are you?
Not too bad.
Excellent.
Could be better, could be worse, but that's kind of the state of life.
It is indeed. David, why don't you say your name and tell us a little bit about yourself and this piece?
So I'm David Bohn, and I'm a composer from Wisconsin. Been doing a lot of things over the years, performing as well as composing. Um, when I saw the call for Talla Rouge, I wanted to try to find some sort of musical connection between the Cajun traditions and Persian classical music. And unfortunately, reality intervened, and I felt the need to go specifically with the Persian tradition, but I specifically selected a dastka or mode that had some resonances in some of the modes of out of European folk music, which I think connects to some extent with the traditions that Cajun music comes from. And I used a gusha or traditional, I guess you'd call it a melodic point of departure to create the piece you're about to hear. And as the program notes, while this was written with Talla Rouge in mind, it's dedicated to the struggles going on in Iran right now.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Hello, my name is Jean-Pierre Vial. I am a French composer and I wanted to show you my current environment in the Alps, somewhere between France and Italy. As a response to Aria and Lauren call for songs, I composed an arrangement of a popular French song created during World War II by Boy Scouts. Its name is Colchique d'automne. Colchique d'automne are some little flowers that grow in the meadows during fall. They are colored purple, and this song has become very popular in France. So let Aria and Lauren perform Colchique d'automne, and let me thank them for that. Bye bye!
Hello, I'm Wajdi Abou Diab, Lebanese composer. In my piece, رقصة قصيرة, which means a short dance, the two viola have equal parts, in which they exchange the melodic and rhythmic elements. Inspired from the Lebanese wedding songs, I used in this piece maqam rast, which is an Arabic mode, and rhythm cycle maqsoom. Thank you for Robert and Talla Rouge for this opportunity. Hope you'll enjoy the piece.
Aria, Lauren, fabulous, fabulous performance.
One second. Hello, everyone. Here we go.
Howdy.
We're tangled over here.
All good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So why don't you guys also just say your names and tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
You go first. My name is Aria Cheregosha. I'm a violist, if you guys didn't know already. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina, and I've been living all up and down the East Coast for schools and stuff, but now we're both in Washington, D.C.
I'm Lauren Spaulding, originally from San Antonio, Texas. My family is very Cajun, so we have lots of gumbo on Christmas and, all sorts of very loud people in my family. An appreciation for maybe the rawness of music in its own way and the dance forms of music that I've really kind of grown up with. And I think, Aria, do you want to talk a little bit about your dad too?
Yeah, my dad's from Iran, and he came here in the 70s, right before the revolution. And he really was the main inspiration or reason why I play classical music, because he played it all the time in the house, and his father in Iran was a composer, actually, and had like a chamber ensemble that was all taught orally, all the pieces, and recorded albums. So my goal is to find those albums one day, but who knows where they are. But so yeah, I grew up just listening to Persian music, classical music from my dad, and yeah, it's kind of inspired our duo in a lot of ways. Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that inspiration. So I came across your group that seemed well, you have an ethnic flair. What was that about?
Well, it didn't start out that way. For our duo, we just kind of started playing, we formed in the pandemic at the very beginning of COVID, and we were stuck in a house together, and two violists. We were kind of just like, what do we play other than Brandenburg 6 and Frank Bridge Lament. There aren't too many viola duos out there, so I had done some transcribing as a kid of piano trios and things because I wanted to play the cello part. So we kind of were like, why don't we just do that for duos? And we started off with just some, Beethoven, things like that. And then us wanting to be more creative and feel more connected to the music that we're playing, I think, is what really fueled us to start looking for pieces that kind of influenced who we are today, where we come from, our heritages, other types of music we listen to in daily life, and things like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so we were, I remember when we first started talking about putting together this 15 minutes of fame, and I thought that I love the call, and I both the original call that was looking for things that were Cajun or Iranian or like sort of Persian feel and stuff, and I love that. But I love what we came up with so much better. I think it really resonated with the composers. And why don't we, Jim? Why don't you start with that? I mean, so you were saying that you don't always get a chance to write Irish jigs.
True. The traditional Irish music is something that I've played kind of sometimes professionally and sometimes just for fun for decades now. And it's always been kind of separate from my composing in a lot of ways, although every now and then it crops up. I did do a choral piece a few years ago, a couple of choral pieces that were based on Irish tunes. But usually I'm doing things with microtones and also speaking of family heritage, my father, who was the Irish side of the family, of course, he was a math professor. So, then I'm writing palindromes and canons and, things like that. So this actually gave me a chance to put both of those two things together, which was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, your piece was super fun to play, and at first when I had to come in with the fast melody, I was like, okay, what is counting? But it works so perfectly. It's really awesome. Yeah.
Definitely caused her some stress. I was glad I had a nice expressive melody where I could just ignore her.
And I couldn't even enjoy her melody. In my head, I'm like, okay, what to do?
It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so David is a veteran of 15 Minutes of Fame. Yes, he's been on every single side of what 15 Minutes of Fame could be. He's performed, he's composed, he's presented and produced. I think you've been just about every place, right?
Yeah, at some point or another.
I remember when this call came out, I definitely flagged it for him, and I said, "Oh, you're gonna enjoy this." So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about your because you did a bunch of research for this as well, right?
Well, not quite so much a bunch. I knew a bit about the classical Persian traditions from teaching a world music survey course for non-majors back when I was still teaching. And I had gotten a bit more information through a Persian musician named Dariush Shenasa. I think I'm getting the name right. I actually haven't talked to him in years. And with the additional help of a little bit from Edin Mofakan, a Persian composer living in Europe somewhere, I tracked down what's kind of the book on the Persian traditions, and again, I picked a mode that was one of the diatonic modes, which seemed to tie into the modes used in the European folk tradition, and selected basically the shortest of the Gusha that I saw in there, and use that as a point of departure.
Yeah, very beautiful.
So aside from a couple of messages to Eden and placing an interlibrary loan order, there really wasn't all that much involved in the research.
It was beautiful. So
thank you.
Yeah. Turned out really great, and I love that you incorporated both a little bit of like the overlap between European and Persian, because there's always one, and I think that's really cool too.
Like I said, finding the common ground between because a lot of the Persian dasgas involve microtones, and I've done work with microtones both in terms of equal divisions of the octave and also extended just intonation. And I just, in the end, I thought for this piece, a diatonic approach would be wiser rather than having to define the exact microtonal intervals required. And again, that the use of one of the purely diatonic dasgas, I felt tied it into the European tradition without being too yeah, excuse me, my train of thought just derailed.
You're okay. Mine does that also.
But I thought that the use of a diatonic Daska helped bridge the gap, as it were, and that some of the microtonal ones would have been a bit more one-sided.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I really loved the open strings and like all the fifths that were included, and it gave it really just like a meditative.
Well, that's also part of the nature of composing for most string instruments is that they're
which you both used quite well.
Tuned in fifths, so
yeah.
So, how much microtonal music do you guys play, or is that a thing, or?
I think we do, especially at the composer workshops. But in my perspective, times are kind of changing. Things are changing from post Second Viennese School, where it was about very super cerebral writing and mathematic, and things are slowly starting to, like your jeans are too tight one year and then 10 years later they're not. So right now I feel like there's a huge trend in composition that things are very tonal again in a different way. So we mostly are playing that right now, but the times switch. So,
and I loved, listening to all these pieces. They feel very sort of ethnic and rural to, just the, so did you find, I always get a question of just like, oh, well, yeah, that's what they sounded like, but what were the other pieces like? Do you feel like that was a trend, or this was like a good mix?
I think it was a trend right now. Yeah, I think maybe one reason I feel this is trending kind of internationally is also with the Black Lives Movement, and kind of following that, people are looking backwards and looking at who they are and looking at what music was to them and kind of rethinking what the Western classical music sound is and seeing it more as just a notational system. And so there's a lot of different opinions on this, and I'm just trying to figure out what people are kind of going for these days. But I think, composers like Gabriella Smith or Carolyn Shaw or Jessie Montgomery or some of the incredible Persian composers like Saba Minikia, they're all writing what they know and kind of merging that with the lineage of Beethoven or all of these other great composers that left us their works. So,
yeah, I agree. I think definitely that's sort of the environment that we currently are. Great.
Yeah, it's fun. Changes it up every 10 years. So
there you go. Well, I want to thank you again, guys. What a wonderful performance. Really, really, really lovely. On behalf of all the composers, we want to say thank you. Yes.
Thank you, composers. Yeah. It was really a joy to go through all of these and, kind of learn a little bit about all of you through your music. So.
Yeah. Or learn a lot about, also not just your compositional style, but also a little bit about your lineage too, which was really fun for us. Yeah. Like a Swedish song, that was cool. Never heard one of those before. Yeah. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you again. Thank you all for watching and being a part of this, and we have lots more to come in the future.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care.